Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I thought I would do a little problem today from the end of the first set. Let me just share my screen. Hope you're working hard. You got my video yesterday. Yep. Okay. So I'm looking at this problem set here. Sometimes when lots of things are open, it's challenging. I hope you noticed that there are 41 problems here. That's a lot of math. And I don't know whether you feel like this is a review or not. This is intended to be review. For a lot of students in college algebra, the problems start here because they don't remember very well how to solve quadratic equations. There's just a lot of content here. This is reflective of the course. Okay, I chose the very last problem of this set, and I'm just going to work it here. The symbols you might not be familiar with. So Z, sorry, let me annotate here. Yeah. Okay, so it says Z equals 6 minus 3i. That means that the conjugate of Z, which is this little Z bar, is 6 plus 3i. Now, this takes us back to quadratics and binomials, because if I have 7 plus 3x and 2 minus 5x, to multiply this out, I need to make sure I FOIL and get everything connected. I prefer the little arrows to help me remember everybody needs to get multiplied by everybody else in the other parentheses, right? So I'm going to have 14, I'm going to have minus 35x, I'm going to have plus 6x, I'm going to have minus 15x squared. So many things come into play here that cause people problems. And again, as a student, you want to be paying attention to what am I getting wrong? So this is not so much about, can I get it right? I mean, yes, ultimately, can you get it right? But if you're not getting it right, then you have to become a doctor. What's wrong? Why am I doing this wrong? If we were working together in my office, I could help diagnose things. And I can help diagnose things from afar, but you have to give me stuff. You have to send me process and have me look at it, right? Common problems would be negative numbers, confusion about multiplying exponents, confusion about combining like terms, things like that. Okay, all totally understandable, totally fixable, but you got to be able to identify them. All right. And by the way, I just made this problem up. If you're looking at this like, what does this have to do with 6 minus 3i? The answer is that it's a related skill and a related topic. That's how I talk about mathematics, because I want you to see the connections, not just like do one problem like you're in the zone. Okay. So if I can do this process, then I can do this process, because I want to multiply. Remember, when I put two things next to each other, I want to multiply Z times the conjugate of Z. So this is going to be 6 minus 3i times 6 plus 3i. Oh, pen's not working very well. So I got 36 minus 18i plus 18i minus 9i squared. Okay. These two terms knock each other out. I got 36 minus 9i squared. Of course, I shouldn't stop there, because I squared is equal to -1. So this is now 36 minus 9 times -1. So it's 36 plus 9, which is equal to 45. Okay. I was expecting there to be some division in here. Let me just say a quick word about division, because that's really the hardest problem. If I have 3 plus 2i divided by 4 minus I, you cannot, first of all, separate this out and just divide them separately. That's not how it works, because 4 minus I is a quantity, and I want to be able to divide by that quantity. So the trick is to multiply by the conjugate, 4 plus I, 4 plus I. If you do that correctly, you've got to FOIL this out, you got to FOIL this out. The number on the bottom turns into just a whole number, kind of like it did over here, right? When I multiply the number by its conjugate, it ends up being a whole number, a real number again, sorry. So that's going to happen in this situation. And when I get that then I can distribute the division. What do I mean by distribute the division? 10 plus 20 divided by 5 is equal to 10 divided by 5 and 20 divided by 5. That's 2 plus 4. That's 6. Okay? This is distributing the division because I'm taking the divided by 5 and I'm applying it to both parts of the top. Of course, I could have just done 10 plus 20 divided by 5. But in this case, I won't be able to do that because I'll have a whole number, sorry, a real number part and an imaginary number part. And so I'm going to distribute my division to get my A plus BI answer. Okay, I hope you're working hard. Remember, basically, the way you should think about it is you got 8 weeks. You got to split up the modules in terms of those 8 weeks. Let me do some clearing here. Clear. Let me get out of this. Oops, I don't want to annotate anymore. That's gone. That's gone. Okay, so when you're looking at the full course, you've got 8 modules. That means that you need to finish Module 01 this week. Module 02, that's next week. So you've got 41 problems from homework 1A. How many do you have from homework 1B? 37. So that's 78 questions. And keep in mind, 78 questions, like if I was doing 78 questions, I'm a math teacher, I know all this stuff, I don't need to review anything. That's still going to take me a long time, right? Now, if you get stuck, it's going to take you even longer. And that's really where the learning has to happen. That's why you can't do this on Saturday. You have to keep chipping away at it so that you're like, okay, let me try a problem out of this section. Let me see how I'm feeling about this, right? Maybe you don't need to do every single one. Go on to the next section, try a couple problems from there. So you're really trying to map out like, this is what I have to accomplish. Let me break it up into chunks and let me identify where my weaknesses are going to be because I need to get help in those areas, right? And then where does the help come from? Am I calling on my uncle? Am I talking to my aunt? Am I getting my cousin in here? Am I, oh, fine, I'll talk to the teacher. You know, he's a horrible person and I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to let him know I'm confused about something. And then that's only the homework. There's 2 quizzes that you have to do, and you want to do well on the quizzes. Go back and look at the weighting for this. Let's take a look here. Hopefully it's in the syllabus. There it is right there on the side. Discussions, 5%, homework, 15%, quizzes, equally important, 15%, far fewer questions in the quizzes. And, you know, there's more time in a way to do the homework because it's not limited. Quiz has a time limit, but you can't have support during a quiz. All right, but this is the big one, and this is everything, right? You can do great on the homework, you can do great on the quizzes, but if you're not doing it in a way that prepares you to do well on the test, forget about it. You're not going to succeed in the course, okay? All right, we'll talk more about that later. I hope this video has been helpful to you, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.